So it seems to be the case that Playboy.com did an interview with Dave Rubin. Now, I'm not really honestly sure why Playboy is doing political articles in the first place. It just seems out of place to me. But I don't know. I know, and I definitely, Playboy is supposed to be like a porn mag essentially. So it's kind of odd that they're doing this. I didn't know they were doing political stuff, although I do believe they did some hit piece on Anna Kasparian. But they decided to do an interview with Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin of the Rubin Report, of course. Now, it's pretty funny. So, I mean, they're doing this interview, and they present him with one of my criticisms, one of which is other people's as well. But they actually name drop me in this article as one of the people, which they say is also part of a larger network of leftist YouTube channels. So I'm going to read you guys what this article says. Now, it says, but how much freedom does the Rubin Report actually exercise? There are those who accuse Rubin of the same censorious nature of the deplatformers of the left, on the left, which he continually derides. Rubin says he's invited Elizabeth Warren and Chelsea Handler on the show, but he won't humor YouTubers from the left, such as Sam Seder, host of the Majority Report, who's challenged Rubin to a debate and who's regularly posted videos questioning Rubin's intellectual capital. Seder is also part of a larger network of leftist YouTube channels, including The Progressive Voice in quotations, that seems to have made it its mission to take Rubin down. Quote, if you're doing misleading videos about me all day, I don't need you in that chair, responds Rubin. It says, editor's note, Playboy did not reach out to Seder for comment on this story. So, okay, so to talk about this, the way that this type of shit is set up, and I know that obviously they're not like the only people to do this, but these sorts of articles are super weird because I don't know what the chronological order is. I mean, did they, I don't know, like, was my name mentioned? I don't think it was in terms of like, oh, these are some YouTubers that are taking you down or attacking you. Do you, would you want to have a conversation with them? Obviously, Sam Seder he requested to, he's like, yo, I'll come on your show, dude. Um, while he sits there and claims that, lefties don't want to come on, they're too scared, and they don't believe in the exchange of ideas. Um, the free marketplace of ideas, of really good ideas. But you have this lefty guy who is on your plane. You're talking about not only a political commentator with a respectable following online of over 300,000 subscribers, but the dude's also an MSNBC contributor, so he's on TV like once a week or something like that, which is, which you could argue is higher than Dave Rubin, but I really honestly don't really know. Now, is it my mission to take Rubin down? No, but I do enjoy, talking about stuff he says because obviously he's in the opposition, and the statements that Dave Rubin makes are massively stupid. When he says things like, "Oh, Jesus had a bunch of Muslim friends," when Islam wasn't founded until hundreds of years later. Just unbelievably laughable stuff here. But it's pretty funny to me here that he makes this like claim where he's like, if you're doing misleading videos about me all day, I don't need you in that chair. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I mean, anybody like people like Sam Seder. I'm gonna use Sam Seder as the main guy because I think that's really who he's talking about. He's not making misleading videos about you, dude. He's rebutting what you're saying, and you're just too scared to actually have a conversation with him because he's gonna beat the shit, like he's gonna intellectually beat the shit out of you. So I I don't know what he's talking about, but this sort of a thing of like, not having him on, it just doesn't make any sense. And he's like, I've invited Elizabeth Warren and Chelsea Handler on the show. Like, okay, dude, but why would any of those people come on your shitty ass show? I don't understand that. That's what I don't get. So you're on YouTube, you're a platform like that, and you have another YouTuber who's got over 300K subs and he goes on TV. How are you going to say that person's like, he's making misleading videos about you, but people like Elizabeth Warren and Chelsea Handler, you're not down to have on? Just a really weird thing. But here's where it goes on to say this is really the interesting part. Um, it says Cedars accused Rubin of being, quote, on the take, a programming tool of the fiercely capitalistic Koch brothers. The criticism is linked to Rubin's partnership with Learn Liberty, a libertarian subsidiary of the Institute for Humane Studies, which has received funding from Koch family foundations. Quote, Learn Liberty sponsors an episode per month, which we announce at the top of the show. They have thousands of donors. They have no control over our content and have never asked me to do or say anything. For the record, though, I'd be happy to have the Koch brothers on the show, just as I'd like to talk to George Soros or any other interesting, influential people. This is flatly denying that his talking points are for sale. Rubin admits that Learn Liberty has given him a list of suggested guests, some of whom he's booked, like economist Daedry McCloskey and Georgetown law professor Randy Barnett. That is absolutely hilarious to me. And the thing here is no one has ever claimed that they told him specifically to say anything. It's that he already knew what they would want him to say. And to be fair, I don't know that they didn't tell him anything because I don't know. I honestly don't know if he'd really be telling the truth there in the first place. But he literally states, he says that they gave him a list of suggested guests. So these people who are sponsoring one episode per month, the Koch brothers, massively fucking rich people who are funding this think tank, they're giving you this list of guests that are a suggestion, and you've booked multiple of those people. So even if, like, let's say these people, didn't end up getting booked, just the fact that they even suggested a list of guests, like, why would they do that if they don't have any influence whatsoever? Why would they suggest guests? It doesn't make any sense. He says they have thousands of donors. Yeah, dude, but who are the main ones bankrolling the shit out of it? Again, like I've already gone over, Charles G. Koch has funneled cash into the Institute of Humane Studies. He sits on that board, and then Learn Liberty is their subsidiary. Because what do you do if you're this super rich, mega billionaire? What do? You have a mega billionaire. You're a mega billionaire. You have a political system in which you are essentially set to buy elections. I mean, you're in a system in which buying elections, totally passes off. So you start off these think tanks to further, your cause of lowering taxes and deregulation, because you don't want to regulate fracking because that's where they get all their fucking money from. You don't want higher taxes. You want lower taxes. You have an incentive to go lower your taxes. So you're gonna do this kind of thing. So he's finally, faced with this criticism, and all he really does is he doesn't actually, he says that he says that they sponsor an episode per month. So, and he didn't say how much they give either, which I don't really expect, to be fair. I don't expect him to say how much they give, obviously, because that's weird. Sort of something that's more, intimate detail. So I get that, but it's we know right here 100% because he says they sponsor an episode per month. We don't know how much he's getting paid for that episode per month, but whether or not they tell him to say something really is irrelevant, to be honest with you, because when they decide to back Rubin, it's because he's spewing the talking points that they want. So he sold out. He started saying those talking points because he knew he was going to pick up backing from these different billionaires. And it's the same thing with other people like this who are these conservative, figures like Candace Owens. Remember when Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were like, I have this group of donors who will donate like $100K if you do this debate. And it's like, who are these group of donors? These group of donors are the same douchebags who are funneling shit tons of money into our election system, rigging the election system, making it so that it's not really the people choosing. And so what you're talking about is you're exposing yourself in that process. But essentially, with facing this criticism, he proves to us he is getting paid by Learn Liberty. He's making that money. So I don't even know really where he's I don't even really know what he tried to say really doesn't happen. I mean, all he really essentially said is that, hey, you know, they don't have control over what I do, but it's you changed what you said because you knew you were going to get that backing. And on top of that, he admitted that they gave him a list of suggested guests. That is a dead fucking giveaway. They literally gave this man a list of suggested guests for saying, hey, like, you should bring these people on because it's gonna, push our ideology and this is our plan. So, and he's booked people on that fucking list, like, economist McCloskey and Professor Brandy Barnett. So even in that case, it's like, yeah, they do have some effect on what you're doing, but I don't think this is the first time that he's been presented with this criticism, but trust me, man, he is getting some cash from the Koch brothers. I don't know how much it is. We'll never know, but that means that he's making, and they've got a shit ton of money to do, man. They've got a shit ton of money to give, and they're clearly having an effect too. But another thing I want to tack on really towards the end of this, I've already invited Dave Rubin on. Obviously, I knew he wasn't going to come on, but to go, have Sam Cedar on your show. I don't get it. How can you simultaneously claim that, lefties won't come on my show because they don't believe in the free marketplace and the free exchange of ideas, and then simultaneously make the statement that, Sam Cedar can't come on my show? Have Sam Cedar on, dude. Have him on. Have him on. Why not? Are you afraid? Are you scared? I mean, what's the problem? It doesn't make any sense. Sam Cedar's going to Politicon too. Like, you're being a bitch, dude. And you're not only are you being a bitch in that, but you're being a hypocrite, like a massive, massive, massive hypocrite. But have Sam Cedar on your show, man. I don't understand. And you're a Koch brother sellout, man.